Bloom News Brief. More info at fullandbloom.com. Pearl Jam vocalist Eddie Vedder was recently interviewed by the New York Times. When the interviewer said, "When you got started in music, the idea of not selling out was central. Now the concept has basically disappeared." Vedder said, "This is good news. This means that the fragrance that I'm about to put out won't be looked down upon. But along those same lines, there also used to be so much more ambivalence about fame. How did we get from there to here? As far as fame, when we were getting successful, it was like being on a freight train. You're in the engine room, there are no windows, you feel the velocity, but you don't know where the train is going. There might be limited communication with whoever's in the conductor's seat. When you realize that's happening, you try to take over the train. We thought we've got to slow down or change direction because there might be a bridge that's blown out and it will all go away. But to circle back to selling out, you could be a band that was concerned about ticket prices, concerned about t-shirt prices, concerned about ticket surcharge prices. You could do all that and then cut to 10 or 5 years later, and music was not something that people had to pay for. Is that part of the evolution? People said, if nobody's going to pay for the music, then we're going to have to figure something else out. You had to find other ways to maintain. When the interviewer said, "Do you think any ripples from that Gen X alt culture explosion extended to the present?" Vedder responded, I used to work in San Diego loading gear at a club. I'd end up being at shows that I wouldn't have chosen to go to. Bands that monopolized late 80s MTV. The metal bands that, I'm trying to be nice, I despised. Girls, 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 and Motley Crue. Fuck you. I hated it. I hated how it made the fellas look. I hated how it made the women look. It felt so vacuous. Guns N' Roses came out, and thank God, at least had some teeth. But I'm circling back to say the one thing that I appreciated was that in Seattle in the alternative crowd, the girls could wear their combat boots and sweaters, and their hair looked like Cat Powers and not Heather Locklear's. Nothing against her, but they weren't selling themselves short. They could have an opinion and be respected. I think that's a change that lasted. It sounds so trite, but before then it was bustiers. The only person who wore a bustier in the 90s that I could appreciate was Farrell. To read the entire interview, click the link in the description.